Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to do a beautiful winter scene using a new technique, and I think it's going to be fun. And I have to record it in a couple different parts because we have to let things dry in between assembly. So the first thing we're going to do is just take some watercolor paper, and I taped it down, and then I just roughly sketched out 4 trees just so I could see where they were going to fit and how to do my paint. So we've got acrylic paint. This is just really inexpensive. I think it's 50 cents a bottle. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do a little bit of a line on the edge. And we're using a technique where you can use a squeegee, which is like the thing you clean your shower with, or you can use just a flat piece of cardboard. You just want to make sure it's a very flat piece. Otherwise, you'll see when we do our effect that you'll lose the definition. So you can pick any 4 colors for your trees, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, they have some interest, but also that they all kind of go together, same family. So we've got our little squiggles of paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my squeegee and I'm just going to move it side to side a little bit, get some paint on there, and then I'm just going to go straight across my painting. That's it. So now we're going to wait and let that dry, and then we'll come back for part 2. Okay, step 2. We have another piece of watercolor paper, and I'm just going to spray my watercolors and get them ready to paint with. And we're just going to basically paint a sky and a snowy hill. So really quick, I'm just going to sketch out my hill. I want it to be a little more bubbly than that. Because it's going to be covered up by trees. There we go. And now I know where to paint. So there's my hill. And I'm just going to wet my paper. Okay, and while that's wet, I'm just going to come in with a little bit of kind of a dark blue, a little bit of a purple tinge to that. And as you paint, your paper is going to bow up a little bit. You can see it kind of picking off the counter here, but that's okay. That's because I didn't tape it down, but I just didn't want it to have white edges because our trees are big and they'll go right to the edge of the paper when we stick them on. So kind of going dark at the top, and then we'll just work our way down to a light blue. But you know, in the winter time, you have these kind of super dark tops. And you can go down a little bit into a rounded edge on the side, which kind of gives height to your sky. So it looks a little high. Okay, and then we're going to go in with the next blue, and all of it's going to blend together. So just don't you worry about the color difference or anything like that. Oh, my paintbrush is dropping all of its hairs because it's a new paintbrush I got for Christmas. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to keep our curve, blend in our sky. So as you bring a new color in, you can just kind of wash it through right around the edge. Okay. And we'll bring our next color in just a little lighter still. And just like all of my art classes, I always tell you guys every time that it doesn't have to be perfect, because nothing in life is perfect. And the sky has lots of different color variations. So just take it easy. I am going to try and get a pretty good line here at the bottom of my sky. But even that, your pencil work is just a guide. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to go along the edge there so that my paint will stop moving when it hits the dry paper. Re-wet the bottom here. There we go. And then bring my blue in. Just big arcing sweeps of color. And as we bring it down, we'll just wet our brush and pull this color in. Smoothing it out, blending it together. Great, I think that looks great. Okay. So that's the end of our watercolor bit. So I am going to add a few spots of really wet paper because I would like to bring in a sprinkle of snow, and I'm going to use some salt, and you guys know that makes a great effect here. But it'll also stick to the paper and it will look like snow. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and then we will see what happens when we put our whole project together. All right, step 2 on our trees. So we're going to take a little bit of white acrylic paint and we're just going to add some snow to our trees. So they're dry now and we're just going to add a little bit of snow. So because we haven't cut these out yet, we can just kind of dab. And you want to be able to still see the color through, but we're just going to add some snow. So I'm just kind of doing little patterns here as if it was the tree leaves kind of stuck. You can even do this with your fingers if you want. You can do like a little finger painting. You can use a sponge, anything you want. Nothing needs to be perfect. We're just going to dab in our little bits of snow onto our trees. And the big key is we want to be able to see the color through. So you can just keep dabbing until it looks the way you like. Because we're making a really nice snowy winter scene. All right, so we'll wait till that dries and we'll do the next step. Okay, we're ready to put our picture together. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut our trees out. Pretty easy. And I'm just kind of going along my pencil lines. Not all the way, but there we go. They are trees, so they don't have to be perfect. So what we want to do when we put this together is we want to put our bigger trees in the front and our smaller trees in the back. And that creates a little bit of perspective, makes our picture seem more realistic, and that's how we're going to set everything up. All right, that's two. Keep going as tall as we can for this guy. It's a tall, skinny tree. And we've got our last tree here. This guy's a little short, fat tree. You know, in Colorado we have spruce trees, which are kind of like, they look like Christmas trees. And I have 5 of them in my yard, and some of them are tall and skinny, and some of them are short and fat. So I've got all my trees, and here's my 2 smaller ones, and here's my taller ones. So I'm going to take my dried watercolor with my salt on it, and I want to put my small trees first. And I'm just using a little bit of white school glue. Just this. And I'm going to put some little blobs of glue on the back. Just like this. And then I'm going to take my second small one. Here. And I will take my, let's see, yeah. Sometimes helps to plan it out a little bit. And you can do 10 trees if you want. You can make a little forest. It'll look so nice. Just a little bit of overlap, showing one tree is the bigger, closer tree, and one tree is a little farther away. And then you can put a book on these if you want, just hold them still. But there is our beautiful little winter forest. And it looks great. And it's just another project that we finished. So if you find that you have made this project and you're proud of it, you are welcome to turn it in for credit. Just replace one of your other assignments with this project. And it's a good one to use in case you don't have the supplies for another project. You can choose to do this one instead. So I hope you guys had a great winter break, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.